and smile for me. Tell me that you'll wait for me. Hold me like you'll never let me go. I'm leaving on a jet plane. I don't know when I'll be back again. Oh, babe, I hate to go.
My name is John Varney, and I graduated from Del Norte High School in 1974.
Amanda Sprunger, and I married David Sprunger.
Fred Rosevich. I graduated from Del Norte High School in 1974.
My name's Diana, and I graduated from Del Norte in 1975. My husband graduated in 74.
I'm Patty Wilhelm Warren, and I graduated from Del Norte High School, Go Knights, in 1974.
My name is Michael Tandish. I go by Mikey, and I graduated in 1974.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Tandish. I'm married to Mike Tandish for over 41 years.
Hi, my name is Denise Montoya and Denise Suzanne Montoya, and I graduated in 1974 from Del Norte High School. A night.
I'm Steve Feld.
Well, I'm Howard Roth. I've been here. My parents moved here when I was 3 years old, 1959. Been here ever since.
We met in Green Bay, Wisconsin in February of 1977. He was stationed there. He was in the Marine Corps. He joined the Marine Corps after high school. And he was stationed there, and we met on a blind date.
And how long have you guys been married?
46 years.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's a long time.
Yes, it is.
Congratulations.
It feels like forever.
No, we're still, there was a very small group of us. We hung around a very small group, and we still get together every so often. Not often enough. I think the sad thing is finding out people that have passed away in the class that you would never expect that to happen. But and just having stuff like this, I think the older we get, the more we appreciate family and friends and stuff. But we don't really think of that when we're younger.
How did you guys date in high school?
Yes, since I was in the 9th grade.
Oh my goodness.
So
Okay. Tell us about dating in 1974. What did that look like?
we did some cruising, basketball games, football games, the typical stuff. Movies, dinner, lunch. We ate all the time. In 1976, right after I graduated, we've been married for 48 and a half years. We've been together for 52.
Yeah, it's a long time.
It is. He's still alive.
How did you guys meet?
We met at the hospital because I was an RN and he was a PT tech. And he was always a wild and crazy person. Getting all, one of the bad boys, and I was a straight arrow, a straight A student, but somehow it worked. And we have 2 adult children, no grandchildren, lots of animals.
So my senior year, me and all my friends had our locker in the front. And right in the front was a big trophy case. And everybody would meet there in between classes. So I guess the administration thought, no, we better put a bar around it because they might, fall into the trophy case. So then, in between classes, and it was usually all the athletes, the jocks, we would come to trade out books for our next class, and they were all sitting on the bar. I mean, it was loaded. And we talk and chit-chat and stuff. And then the administration decided, no, that's not safe. So they had welded steel pointed parts, and it was welded all the way around on this bar to keep them from doing it. Well, but they didn't know that class of 74 had a bunch of hard asses. And so those boys still sat on it. And we would come around the corner and they're sitting on it.
I hope it's okay.
Gosh, how did they do that? Come here. Do you remember the bar around the trophy case that they put those spikes on so the boys wouldn't sit on them? They sat on them anyway?
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. And so I'm just wondering to this day how many of those athletes / jocks. Remember, it was all the jocks that sat
How many
there.
stitches they had?
How many dimples they have in their rear end at this time, or did they have some kind of medical issues from it or whatever? So, but
They might not have children now
They might not.
for that reason.
Okay, I hope that didn't happen, but so that was a good memory. And one of the big songs was Benny and the Jets. And so everybody was walking around the hall going, Benny and the Jets, so I guess a visitor probably thought we were a school with lisps. All the students have lisps. Can you hear all these kids? Yeah.
Oh, I guess the last day of school we stole one of our alumni's locker door off of his locker and gave it to him as a graduation present.
Yes.
And I remember we were trying to smuggle it out of the school, and I had my graduation gown over, and I put it over my shoulders, and it just slipped right out and bam on the floor. But then we got it and hightailed it out of there with it.
So you didn't get busted?
No.
Awesome.
And I don't know what Richard did with his locker door.
The big party that people talk about was pretty much a one-off.
Okay.
My parents were out of town. My older brother was out of town. He had already graduated and gone. My younger brother was with my parents, and so we took advantage of the opportunity.
It's the one that everybody remembers, though.
It is one that everybody remembers. I think we went through 3 full kegs of beer. The local motorcycle club showed up because one of our classmates was a neophyte member in them.
Okay.
They were fantastic. They stayed in the backyard when all the football jocks started making trouble in the kitchen, splattering peanut butter on the ceiling stuff. It was the bikers who came in and escorted them out. We had people falling asleep in the bathtub. We had people having sex on the front lawn with the airplane with the cops flying overhead. And I think there were 15 or 16 people that ended up spending the night in various couches, beds, floors, and then made this massive breakfast in the morning with tater tots and eggs and donuts, and the whole thing was a hoot. And then they all stayed and helped clean up, and my parents came home and never knew anything.
What's so cool
So this
about
is
it?
not going to be a public document, right?
What's so cool is that this is the one that everybody was talking about last night.
Which is, it was one of many, many parties. It was an era. We partied a lot.
There's a lot of friendships were made. And
Yes.
Stuff. But the reason I stuck to it after the first year was because I used to get to go to the football games. In order to get to the football games, you had to ride on the bus, and you got to ride with the cheerleaders. And at Del Norte, we had a dance group called the Pastels, and it was the only group like that in the city back in those days. And I'm not sure if any other high schools ever adopted that or not, but there was, 40 or 50 good-looking gals and the cheerleaders, and so we got to ride on those same buses. So,
Yeah.
that was advantageous for young teenage boys.
Yeah.
To be in band. Word got around after a while, so you had a lot of young guys that would be in a band.
But this wasn't from Del Norte. It was from junior high,
Okay.
McKinley.
That's okay.
We had this teacher called Mr. Bellows, George Bellows. I believe he became a principal later on, but he was a teacher in electronics and drafting and stuff like that. And back in those days, it was okay to corporal punishment. He used to have this stick, but that long. He called it Mr. Black because it was made of ebony, which is a real heavy, dense wood. Well, Mr. Polson was the principal of the school at the time. He didn't do the disciplinary stuff. He said, "Go see Mr. Bellows about Mr. Black." And,
Did you ever meet Mr. Black?
well, no. Everybody feared Mr. Black. When Mr. Bellows, he was pretty stern.
Yeah.
I remember one time somebody, I think it was in drafting class, and somebody did something on the board, I think, and he didn't like it. So he started asking, "Okay, you did this," and nobody fussed out. So guess what our assignment was for the weekend? 1,000-word document for an essay about the life of a rubber band.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. And there's another thing I've told some of the students here about it. My mom worked in the cafeteria at McKinley, and the manager of the cafeteria was actually my dad's cousin, a lady named Helen. And I think it was about 1968. They got some hamburger in and started cooking it, and it didn't look like beef. It wouldn't brown like beef. And so Helen, she'd been the manager. She called the USDA in on it, and it turns out the supplier came from, I guess the supplier was in Colorado, and turned out it was a little horse in there.
Oh.
So pretty much all the 8 kids during that period, probably within a week or two, ate some horse at one time.
That's awesome. Oh, that's so gross.
Were they ever told?
Oh, a lot of people. I talked to that with some of the students here. Some of them do remember that. That apparently it got in the paper.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? In high school, I wasn't popular, but I was well known only because I talked to everybody. I had some friends in every, clique, and it was so much fun. I had a lot of good friends in high school, and I missed it. I liked it, and I was on the homecoming court.
Awesome.
Yeah, but I wasn't a cheerleader or a Castell or any. I wasn't in the popular clique, but I knew everybody.
We used to do some pretty impressive maneuvers on the field when you have 110 kids.
Yes.
And then we had these crazy uniforms. They all black. Okay, in the fall and the winter,
Right.
but in early fall it was hotter than H. And we had these hats that were really tall. I mean, really tall, woolly. We called them woolly burgers. Anyway, they're about this big around, this big, and this wool. We had these beautiful tall hats. I don't know where that came from, but it was impressive. To see that, but hot, man. It was like so hot in the early fall. When the football season first starts, it wasn't that. That's just some of the things I remember about that.
No, but I was like in the yearbook for the most expressive eyes with Angel, and it was really cool because I haven't seen him in all this time. Maybe at the 25th, I don't know, but we took a picture together. Yeah, we were most expressive eyes, and that day we went to the Four Seasons to do all the senior superlative pictures, and somebody threw Lydia Gonzalez in the pool because there was an indoor pool at the Four Seasons on Carlisle Manal at the time, and it was just a lot of fun. And my boyfriend in high school, I just had one boyfriend, and for a few months, Fred Colotz, he's passed away, but he was the class flirt with Lydia, the one that got thrown in the water. They were class flirts. Yeah, and then later he became a gynecologist. Go figure. I think he specialized in something else later, but
Sure. That's awesome.
yeah, and he always wore a hat.
Betty Glover. What? She's never played with other musicians until 3 days ago. Andy Miller. Yeah, and Jay Rosenblum. And Cheryl Candish and myself. High or it's low. You can change keys? I mean, all of you together? I know you can. Can they? Oh, so many times I've been down. So many times I've played around. I tell you now, they want me to feel. Kiss me and smile for me. Tell me that you'll wait for me. Hold me like you'll never let me go. I'm leaving on a jet plane. I don't know when I'll be back again. Oh, babe, I hate to go. I'm leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. Leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll I'll be back again. And the only time that he's satisfied is when he's all grown. And mother, tell your children not to do what I have done. Going back to New Orleans, where that ball and chain